Dear viewers, if you watch the television channels or look at the newspapers, you will not miss this news. The Sensex is climbing lifetime highs week after week. If you see the other information, you will not miss that the economy is not doing very well. Jobs are not being created, the auto sales are down, and the various metrics which show the health of the economy are down. How is it possible? Can the Sensex move up despite the economy is down? Or which one of these two is correct? The economy is doing well, that's what the Sensex is reflecting, and the economic indicators that we see are very deceptive and may not be telling the truth. In today's episode, we are going to dissect every bit of information and see which one of this is correct or whether two of them can coexist. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakanth, Bhat, practicing investment consultant and a financial planner. This is an attempt to impart financial literacy. There is no hype here, it's just the right advice.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
So dear viewers, if you have these doubts in your mind, the Sensex is going up, economy is down, which one of this is correct or whether they can coexist, I feel there are 4 points which answer this question. Point number 1. While it may be true that the economy is not in its best health, but economy is still growing. We have seen in the past the economy growing at 6.5%, 7% per annum. Where does it stand today? Today we have an economic growth which is just around 5%. So it is not zero, it is not in the minus territory. So in spite of economic indicators being down, still the economy is growing. This is the primary reason why the Sensex is moving up. We are engulfed with this negative news of economy slowing down. That's why we feel the Sensex has to come down, or it's looking very high, or it has to correct. But the basic fact that remains is economy is still growing. This growth is not the small growth. Now when we say economy is growing at about 5%, it is the net of inflation. What is the growth numbers that I and you will actually feel on the ground? This is called the nominal growth. When the GDP numbers say that we are growing at 5%, it means it is actually a nominal rate of growth is equal to the GDP numbers plus the underlying inflation. Now, if the GDP is growing at 5% and if the inflation on ground is 4%, the total growth or the nominal growth that you feel in the economy is 9% in nominal terms, which means if Sensex is at a particular number last year, it is fair enough for us to expect to grow by this number 9% in this particular year. Well, point number 2. Why the Sensex is climbing up today? To find an answer, we have to go back a few years before. All of us know that the economy was doing very well in the last 3-4 years. But if you look at the Sensex figures of last 3-4 years, Sensex did not move a great deal. It stood at where it stood almost there. It was moving up a little bit more, coming back, more or less it stagnated at the same place. Which means in the last 3-4 years, economy was climbing up nicely, whereas the Sensex did not make a gain on that. Why did it happen? The answer lies in the problems of the banking sector. During the last 10 years, the banks went overboard, got into a lot of problems due to reckless funding of businesses, several scams which broke out in the airlines industry, the gems and jewelry industry, steel, power sector, as a result of which the NPA problems of the bank started rising. What did the regulator do to address this? The regulator said, yes, as banks you are making profits, economy is growing, you have your share of profits, but I will not allow you to publish these profits. Now the profits that you have made in the banking sector have been kept as a provisions to cover the inevitable losses that might come from the non-performing assets. So in a situation where the economy was doing very well, the banks were doing very well, they were making their profits, but their balance sheet did not show this profit because the profits that they made were provisioned against the possible losses. As a result, the total earnings of the Sensex or the Nifty stood where it is or showed a very tepid growth. As a result of which, in the last 3-4 years, in spite of the economy growing very well, the Sensex and the Nifty stood where it is. What is the situation today? Today, most of the NPA problems are behind us now. Either they have been well provisioned or the various measures that the government have taken, the bad loans have started coming back to the banking institution. So from now onwards, or maybe from year next, the banks will have a normal profit growth, what they did not see in the last 3-4 years. Now, if you look at the composition of Sensex or Nifty, literally 45% of the weightage of the sector belongs to banks or the financial sector. Now, this sector is going to remain healthy in future. This is what is being reflected on the Sensex growth now. So, point 3. We may believe that the Sensex what we see today represents the Indian economy. But if you analyze and if you get into the details of this, today Sensex just does not represent the Indian economy alone. There is a great deal of international linkages. Now, if you look at the sector-wise breakdown of this Sensex composition, we will realize that roughly about 16% of the Sensex is IT, which is nothing but an international business. Around 10% of the weightage of the Sensex is oil and gas, which again is an international business. We have pharma there, which is again has a great amount of international composition. We have the automobile sector, which is a great exporter of goods from India today. So while the Sensex we may believe that represents an Indian economy, it is also catering to the international economy. And if you look at the international economy, as things stand today, international economy looks far better than where it was many years before. This is well reflected in the earnings of these companies which have got the linkages. Now, if you look at the companies which have the domestic linkages more, you find such companies in the mid-cap sector or in the small cap space. Now, if you look at the indices of mid-caps and the small cap segment, they are close to 15% down in case of mid-cap index and about 35% down in case of small cap segment. So to get a clear picture, we just have to look at all the indices together. The Sensex, the mid-cap index and the small cap index. The mid-cap and the small cap index is showing what's happening in the domestic Indian economy, whereas the Sensex and the Nifty is showing what is happening in the domestic economy as well as what's happening in the international economy. The Sensex and the Nifty both are telling that the Indian economy is reviving back. This is the message that the Sensex is showing at this point of time. Point 4. The rally that you see in Sensex is a rally of hope. Stock market functioning is always about the tomorrow. If the market feels that the year ahead of them is far better than what it is today, it will not wait for the economy to climb up before the Sensex moves up. Sensex always moves up in hope. Similarly, the other side also is true. If market feels the future years are going to be bad, they will not wait till the parameters show negative trends. Before that itself, the stock markets will correct. That's the way the markets perform. That's the way the markets behave. We have seen that umpteen number of times. In the early 1990s, India was passing through a very bad crisis. At that point of time, Dr. Manmohan Singh came as a finance minister and initiated the reforms. The moment he started the reforms, the stock market really started climbing up at a very fast pace. It did not wait for the economy to catch up, but economy took literally 8 to 10 years before those reforms started affecting the parameters of the economy. So the hope itself drives the Sensex up. A similar thing happened in 2003 and 2004 period. When the economy showed signs of revival, the stock market literally went through the roof and created a huge rally. So this is the way the markets behave. There is nothing unusual about it. So if you see the Sensex today as a rally of hope, it means the participants of the market feel the coming years are going to be far better, and we have every reason to believe so. So the Sensex today represents rally of hope. So dear viewers, so if you have this doubt why the Sensex is moving up when the economy is down, here is summary of those 4 points for you. Point 1, economy would have slowed down, but it is still moving up. We are still growing at 5% of the GDP. It has slowed down by about 1.5%, but it is still growing. Point number 2, the problems of the banking sector are behind us now. Going forward, the banks will declare healthy numbers, and this will have a great impact on the Sensex earnings. So thereby, this rally on the Sensex is well justified. Point 3, Sensex just does not represent the domestic economy. Sensex has a great amount of international linkages. The businesses which are represented on the Sensex cater to the international economy. Point 4, the rally of Sensex is a rally of hope that tomorrow will be far better than today. So dear viewers, if you like the topic that I discussed today, please like and share this video with near and dear ones. If you are watching this episode for the first time or you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that whenever I release my next video, you will be notified. Thank you again for watching this episode. I will come back and interact with you with one another topic in one another video very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.